Bum, 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 bum. Welcome to the Real and Raw, Relatable Podcast. Bum, 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 bum. I am joined by Cat John, my special guest on my podcast. Bum, 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 ba-da.
And Daisy.
And Daisy rocking the
That was a
bar.
good intro.
Yeah,
You just did that off the cuff.
I should be like a voiceover guy.
Ooh. I've done some voiceovers before in my life.
Vanilla ice cream. Taste it. Feel it. Soothing down the throat.
You're a weirdo. Well, it must be that time of the month again where Steve and I are back together for relationship stuff. Before we start, remember what's one thing that you liked about this week and one thing that you didn't, and then you ask me, because you always ask me questions back because you're so good with that.
One thing that I've liked about you this week
Mm.
is you've been very smushy.
Oh, have I?
Yeah, very smushy
Oh.
and affectionate at times.
Oh, at times. Okay.
And the thing that I didn't like about this week was the times when you were not. How about you?
What I have liked about this week is we have been playful. And we've laughed lots and had fun. Why are you laughing?
I was just thinking about the last time we were laughing lots.
Yes, me too. Anyway, so I have liked us laughing.
Mm.
What I haven't liked this week, I haven't liked how the cold weather affects you. Because it does affect you. You've vocalized that it affects you and that you get just a little bit like down on life because of weather. And so when you're down, you know, my little people pleasing things like, oh, how can I make him happy? And I'm like, that's not up for me to make him happy. So that's all. Nothing heavy.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Now I know that if I ever act down, you will go into people pleasing mode and try to please me.
No, I won't. I'm
No.
just aware of it. What's our focus today?
Today we're talking about dream work makes the teamwork.
Dreamwork makes, isn't it the other way? Teamwork. See, that's why you need a team.
Today we're talking about teamwork makes the dream work.
There we go. We're not even going to edit that.
Nah,
we're just going to leave that.
That's just funny. Made me look like a total dick.
Yeah, someone who's business guy, manifestor. Anyway.
That's because I'm not used to teamwork. I do it alone. So we're just going to talk about an experience that happened today.
A very raw one, might I add.
Yeah, very fucking real and very raw.
Yeah.
And probably not that relatable, but I guess we're going to try and talk about the relatability of how we supported each other through that.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll just put an asterisk on this that this episode we do talk about a very real life death scenario, just in case that may trigger you. You may want to skip this, or you can listen to it, but yeah, just want to kind of give that a bit of a star before we begin.
So we'll sort of kick it off, I guess, how it happened, because I noticed it first.
Yeah, that's true. True.
So this morning, we decided a few things happened this morning that were interesting.
Yes.
So normally Kat wakes up and on a Thursday she goes to a gym at 7 a.m. and does group training. And as usual, the morning started the same. Her alarm went off at 6:15 and woke me up, and I was annoyed. And then normally I then hear her bustling around and like pissing off shortly after. And then I go and take the dogs for a walk on a Thursday on my own. And I woke up at about sort of 7:10, and I was like, oh, Kat's still here. So I said, oh, are you not going to gym today? She's like, no, I didn't sleep well. I'm going to give it a miss. And I said, okay, cool. Well, let's walk the dogs instead. Right?
No, well, you were going to walk the dogs yourself. And I said, just give me 10 to 15 minutes
That's
more
right. And I'll
and I'll
come.
come.
And I'll
And
come.
I'll come with you.
And so anyway,
Why are you laughing?
I'm a juvenile.
Are you being immature
I'm a
because of the
juvenile.
word come? You're a fucking idiot. This is the bullshit I have to deal with. You are an idiot.
All I heard was give me 10 to 15 more minutes and I'll come. And I am a
Oh
child.
my gosh. I cannot believe. I was really hoping that you weren't laughing because of that. But let me just say, you are a 46-year-old man who was in the middle of a story and couldn't help laughing like a child. That is who I'm with. Jeepers creepers.
Oh,
Anyway,
anyway, back to the story.
back to the story.
So then we left. And then the next interesting thing that happened is we got to the corner where we decided whether we're going to go up the canal and to the dog park or whether we are going to go to the beach. And I said to Kat, I've only got 40 minutes now because I have to be at gym. And I said, let's just go to the dog park. And she said, no, let's just go to the beach. We'll make it a quick one, right? And
oh my God.
Now you're laughing. Anyway, so I got to the beach, fast forward to the beach, and we're walking along. And all of a sudden, I noticed there was a group of people standing on the main beach walking path around a man who had had a heart attack, because you could see that they were frantically trying to call the ambulance and someone was attempting to do CPR, right? So it suddenly got very fucking real. And Kat is an ex-nurse and without hesitation could see that the lady that was doing the CPR wasn't doing it correct because her arms were bent, so not enough pressure was going through to this man's heart. And she's thrown the dogs into my hand, or the lead, and she's bolted over without a moment's hesitation and started to do like full-blown CPR on this guy. And it lasted about 3 or 4 minutes.
Might I add just with that, if that's okay?
Yeah.
When I approached this man, he was not here. There was no life in him. He was going clammy and grey in terms of his colouring. His eyes were fixed and there was no breath. Yeah. And I thought, fuck, we're in a lot of trouble.
And no pulse, because someone kept checking for the pulse. So Kat went there, started doing her thing. I watched on, obviously trying to keep the dogs away. Plus, that's just not my field of expertise.
It's not your strong suit.
I didn't want to just stand around staring at this poor guy. And after 3 minutes of doing compressions, suddenly he took a breath and came back, which was just amazing to see, because everyone started to like get excited.
But see, I didn't even hear anyone clap. I didn't hear nothing. All I was just like, boom, boom, compress. Like that was all I could. That was only in my sphere.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they weren't clapping, but you could just see the relief, and like, you know, they were pointing like, oh, he's breathing, and you could see his arm move and stuff. And then at that moment, the paramedics arrived, and basically came in, and they asked Kat to continue doing what she was doing while they prepped their paddles to recharge the guy. And then after Kat finished doing that, like a little fucking quiet hero, no praise needed, just turned around, grabbed me.
I checked if the ambos were okay and if they needed anything else.
Yeah, but after that, like, you weren't looking for, you know, like to leave your details or anything. No. It was just like, you know, you saved this guy's life, and then
I still can't take that one in yet, but
you walked away.
Yeah.
Right? And then from there, we were walking back, and I just said, hey, you know, like, I'm not going to gym. Like, it's very clear that this is going to hit you,
Mm.
shortly. And this is, I guess, the teamwork part, because up until this point, I didn't do anything. Right?
Oh, you held the dogs
I
and
held the dogs,
yeah.
yay! But no, the teamwork part that we want to talk about that's relatable is how do partners support each
Mm.
other in a trauma or after a trauma or when
Yeah.
something big happens, and that's where we really sort of, we showed up. So like first
Mm.
things first, I cancelled gym. I'm like, well, there's no way I'm leaving you to go to gym,
Mm.
knowing like we looked at her watch and her heart rate was like 140, and I knew it was all adrenaline based because
Mm.
it's not like she'd done a workout,
Mm.
and um, it was very clear that we both weren't sort of
Okay.
landed with
Yeah.
what just happened because it all happened so quickly. And so I said, let's go. I'll take you. We'll go to breakfast instead. And you're going to have a come down. The adrenaline's going to leave. You're going to crash. You're going to get
Mm.
tired. And
Mm.
and we've just spent the rest of the day, really just surreally supporting each other
Mm.
through it,
Mm.
because the twist continues. So the reason I gave all the background at the start was it's like it's been such a massive day in terms
Mm.
of like one, witnessing that just makes you in an instant reconfigure what
What's
is
important?
important in life. Like
Yeah.
if you're listening to this and you've just like been shitty at someone, for road raging or like cracked the shits about something that you shouldn't have, it's like when you witness somebody. This guy was like a fit dude. He would have been late 40s, early 50s, um, on a run, and just mid stride,
Bang.
bang,
Mm.
and flat on his face, out, drop dead of a heart attack. Um, and I guess for me,
That feels very pretty real for you.
that's the big one for today. It's just like I'm like,
Mm.
wow, like think about all the things that, like, how they say, if today was the last day of your life, would you really care about that? Like it's almost like if you could somehow capture
Yeah.
that feeling and make sure that you wake up with it every day, how differently would you live
Mm.
life?
Mm.
You
Mm.
know? Um, but yeah, I was saying like so many. So that was one aspect, that the I guess the bit about like life can just finish and reshaping how you feel and think about things. But the other part is like the chaos of life. The sliding doors. Like if Kat went to gym,
Mm.
he might be dead. If Kat, if we turned left instead of right and went to the dog park, he might be dead. If so many ifs, buts, and whatever, but somehow they all lined up for this dude.
Mm.
And now we know that he is in a hospital and
Mm.
okay. And the ambulance told, well, you can explain how this bit happened next, but the ambulance told his wife, who since got in contact with Kat, that if that lady hadn't have done that, he wouldn't be here.
Mm.
Like that's massive.
I know. I still can't let it in yet because I reckon yeah, I can't let that. That's not, my system's not letting that land at the moment. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's true. Like we were having a bit of a laugh later in the day because I also had a situation like this in my life where I saved someone's life, and we were laughing because it was like nowhere near as dramatic. What sort of was, but
Yeah.
I didn't do much. Well, no, I did. See, this is what I mean. I can't let
Yeah,
it
you
land.
can't let it
I can't
land.
let it land either.
Can't let it land that you've actually saved a human's
Yeah,
life.
there was
Yeah.
there was a guy. I had a boat, and there was it was docked off Elwood, and this guy was coming out carrying his girlfriend and didn't realize that she didn't know how to swim, and they started getting out quite deep. She started to freak out and struggle, and was basically drowning him. Um,
Mm.
and I saw it, and I've quickly told the guy at the front of my boat to rip the anchor out, and I floored it straight into this guy, and we pulled him onto the boat, and he was like, I was drowning. And I sort of forgot about it, and then I saw him again like 2 weeks ago because
Yeah.
he lives here again in Elwood, and he came to a poker night, and he's like, dude, like you fully saved my life that day. Like
Mm.
I would have drowned if you
Mm.
didn't bring that boat as quick as you did.
Mm.
Um, and I remember when he said that to me, I was the same. I
Yeah, you're
couldn't.
like,
You can't process it. It's like
yeah.
it sounds. You can get it like mentally, but like really
Mm.
comprehending that like this man who you saved today,
Mm.
like he has 3 kids,
I
he has a
know.
wife, and if she hadn't have been there, they would have lost a father, she would have lost her husband. He'd be dead. Like,
Mm.
it's massive. It's massive.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're just, really talking about how we've
Supported one another
supported one
today.
another through it.
Yeah.
'Cause it,
Like you, me being me, I mean, for me, I was just like, all right, cool. Well, I'll do my best to get on with my day today, but also knowing that my nervous system is going to be really in like a state of shock. So having you as my teammate walking home, canceling what is important to you, your gym and your health, and saying like, I'm not leaving you is really fucking special. Like that meant a lot to me because you decided for me. You acted for me in a moment where I would have, like, being me, little Miss Independent in my own little space of shit, would be like, I'm cool, I'm fine, just nothing to see here, type of thing. So you being able to hold me was, yeah, that meant a lot.
yeah.
So thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm an immature but soft person.
yes, you are indeed.
Yeah, look, I think it was, for me, it was instantly not negotiable. It's
Mm,
like, you've been through a lot. It's going to land. It will land good. It will land bad. There'll
mm,
probably be moments of euphoria. There'll be moments where you like process the fact that, it was touch and go and what could have happened and
mm,
whatever else. And it's like, there's times where that comes first and you just show up and you be there for your partner.
mm.
And I guess that's the takeaway. It's like,
Yeah,
even even though it was a great thing that happened, the same would have been the opposite. If the dice flipped the other way
yeah,
and we were walking away from someone who
yeah.
was gone,
Mm,
then equally I would have
mm,
stayed and supported you through it.
mm.
Albeit that would have been way more traumatic.
Absolutely.
Um. So yeah, it's been a fucking day.
It's been a
That's
fucking day. And
for
we had,
sure.
obviously it's our day to record the podcast for next week. And, we have all these different things that we have that we thought that we could talk about. But it's like, I can't not share this, and talk about a different topic when I'm raw, you're raw. And yes, we may not have like the best message in the world today, but like, fuck, you, I knew that, like, so when I went over, in my mind, I'm like, Steve's going to go to the gym. He's probably going to be gone. Right. So the fact that I know this sounds like, of course you would have stayed. People would be like, of course you would have stayed. But in my mind, I was literally like, he's got to go to the gym. He's just going to go and take the dogs. And I'm fine here because this is where I know I need to be. So when all of that finished and the Ambos, he was in the Ambos care, to look around and fucking get my bearings and to see you there was, again, like really special. And when we started walking home, and I was like, oh, wow, that was pretty fucking intense. And you were just like, you were like, oh my fucking God. Like, you actually, for me, in terms of being a partner and being supportive and being a teammate, you helped me land what the fuck just happened.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
mm.
Um,
Or as you would say, mm-hmm.
I was just like, all right, let's go home, back and feed the dogs, and
Yeah, that was
away we go.
never just going to be what it was about. But in terms of a message, like, there is a message from today. And look, to give you guys some perspective, it was either going to be this topic or talking about why you get upset that I don't light candles after I poo in the toilet,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
So I think you guys have definitely scored the good podcast. That's my personal
Oh
opinion.
dear.
Um, but there is a message in all this, and I
Mm,
think, if I'm going to like wrap it up, right? This man that we don't know, that these people don't know,
mm,
um, he has delivered the message. because the message is of all of today is, apart from obviously, love each other and support each other, it's everything you say constantly, care where you give your fucks,
Mm,
right? We don't know how long we've got. We don't know how long you're on this planet.
mm. Place
Really,
your fucks where it matters.
really think about where you put your fucks. Let the fucking small shit go.
Mm,
Like, focus your energy on things that are gonna, add value to your life. And if you can somehow think about this guy, and I mentioned to you earlier that we know he's okay. The reason we know he's okay is because his wife follows a group on Facebook that Kat's a part of that relates to our community, and Kat
mm.
put a post on it to check if anyone was there this morning,
If they needed a
if they
debrief.
needed a debrief, and if they were mentally, from a
Okay.
health perspective,
Mm.
okay. And she saw the post and she reached out to Kat and said, "You're the one who saved him." And the Ambo said, "If you didn't, he would be gone." And I wanted to say thank you, and I want to thank you in person, right? So, um, you know, through this, it puts everything in
Yeah,
perspective,
I know. And
right?
I guess in relationships, and if we're talking about relationships, all those little petty, pesky things that we really do make important or that we think is important. And I know there are going to be some things in your relationship that are going to be important, but let's talk about the petty things. Toilet seat up, toilet seat down, toothbrush
Candles lit.
splash, candles lit after a poo or not candles lit after a poo, or, leaving things out on the bench. It's like, wow, yeah, like you said, um, you know, I will hold you fucking closer tonight, and I will look at you with deeper love, simply because literally in the space of a moment, someone's life was either they were going to lose their husband, lose their dad, and he was going to lose his life. And it's like, oh my gosh, what matters?
And that's a pretty big fucking message.
That's a pretty
So
big fucking
by
message.
rattling on for 23 minutes about our day today,
Mm,
there's a massive message.
mm,
If you're in a relationship, and everyone is, it might be your parents, it might be your partner, it might be your friends, you know, just be grateful. Don't
mm,
take anything for granted. Like, be grateful for every person. Try and wake up each morning with
mm.
that just little seed in the back of your mind, and you're just gonna have a better fucking day, aren't you?
Mm, mm. I will also add to this, which is sort of off the topic of relationships, but it's to do with the people that you love. Um, I don't know if you're listening to this, if you're up to date with your CPR training, first aid training. This is something that you and I have discussed,
Mm.
and something that, look, like you said, it's not your strong suit. I know in these type of emergencies, you panic, you prefer to stay away, whereas I'm like, I'm fucking going in. That's just the way that I've been built in terms of nursing. It's an emergency, it's life, you just go. So there's one, no judgment on you,
Mm.
because I know that that's not your strong suit. You just held the space.
We have this almost the same mantra. Yours is life and death go, and
Mm,
mine is life and death go dot 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 the other
the
way.
other way. It's like when the girls have, I remember when Mia, she was in the shower when she was little and she slipped and she smashed her jaw and she's come out and blood's coming out. And Steve's like, oh my God, like dancing. What do we do? What do we do? And I'm like, Steve, just step aside. Mia, show me your mouth.
No,
We have our
I
strong
knew what
suits.
to do. I just panically get there as
That's
opposed
true.
to
That's
calmly.
true. That's true. But what I will say is, the people that were working on him before me, like fucking legends, fucking heroes, maybe they have done CPR before or never done it. And they're just like, I'm going in. That's better than nothing, but what's better than also nothing is,
Knowing.
knowing how to give, real, firm, hard, especially on an adult. I know it's different on adolescents and on children and then on babies, which is something that some people may not know. That shit's important because,
Mm.
like I said, I got to that man today and he was not with us.
Mm.
Um,
So we're going to do that course.
Yeah.
We're gonna get up to date. So
Mm.
next time I can panic and still be able to do it.
Yeah, because it's made you think about, like, what if that was my dad? What if
Totally.
that was your dad? What if that was one of the girls? Like, or just any other human on the planet that you were the only person around, to not feel helpless and to be able to give the gift of life back to someone is, if you can, is very precious.
And on that note, watching you give the gift of life today to that guy, like that made me like unbelievably proud. Like you're a dead set legend, not just in what you do here, but like in what you've done in your past with nursing and what you
Mm.
did today. Like, there's still more that has to land for you. I can see from the tears in your eyes. But yeah, at some point you should be, really let it sink in and be proud as well.
Thank you. That means a lot. And as I've already shared, just thank you for holding space today. It's just as a human, as a woman, it feels really nice to have you just, it's like, say, cancel whatever you got to cancel, don't do whatever or do whatever you want to do. Um, yeah, because it's big, and like you have rightly said, and I've said, it hasn't landed yet. I've previously, in my previous life, I've been used to that with nursing, but it's been a long time since, you know, that
Mm.
has happened. So thank you for being on my team.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
You got it.
Yay.